like many Olim, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I made Aliyah with my oldest son and another son, and then another one was born here. And so my oldest son, when we made Aliyah, was 6 years old. And my mother-in-law, who wasn't really thrilled with us making Aliyah, said, "What are you going to do when he becomes a soldier?" And I gave a very simple answer. I'm going to be proud, and I'm going to be this, and I'm going to be that. And I had no idea what I was talking about. So 6 weeks before he went in, I decided I wasn't going to think about it. My daughter was getting married, so that was a great thing to concentrate on, and I did. And then I thought about blogging for professional reasons. I opened up a blog, and the first thing it said is blog name, and I had no idea. So I decided that it would be kind of spooky to write about my daughter's wedding. So, I mean, how much can you write about your daughter's wedding? So I decided to write about my son going to the army. And what am I going to call it? Well, he's not going to tell me. So I'm going to call it A Soldier's Mother, because that's what I was, a soldier's mother. Not the soldier, just a soldier's mother. And I started writing and writing and writing and writing, and he went to war the first time. And when I get nervous, I write. So I wrote. And it got picked up by the New York Times and London Guardian. And all of a sudden I had 10,000 people a day coming, and some were cursing, and some of this and some of that. And then a mother came to me and said, "Is there a support group for parents?" And I thought, Deb, sure. And I created one. It's now up to 2,500 parents from all around the world. It is by far the most amazing group in Facebook, right? Yes. It is supportive, it is loving. You can say anything, it's amazing. So following are some tips, suggestions, I don't know what you call it, things that I've learned. The first thing is, I apologize if I say he, when I should say he or she. Just go with it, please. The second thing is that there's no one-size solution here. Everyone deals with this how they want to deal with it, and the key is to find what's best for you. So some tips or some comments that I have. The first one is be proud. Not of your son, because that's kind of automatic, right? You know that. Be proud of you, because, because every day you are surviving this, and this is unbelievable. This is the 5th time that my oldest son has been called to war. And it is the single most terrifying part of my life. And it's unbelievable that we're here again. And so how do we deal with it? So first of all, be proud. You are surviving this. Now, I can't tell you you're going to survive all of this. What I'm going to tell you is you're going to survive today. And that's all you have to do. Forget about tomorrow. Forget about next week. Don't listen when they tell you this could go on for months. Forget it. Survive today. Sometimes just survive an hour. Sometimes 10 minutes. Whatever it takes. Don't think, don't imagine, just survive now. There will be failures. My best failure was the night before my youngest son went in the army. And I very stupidly started crying and said to him, "Don't die. Whatever you do, don't die, because then it'll kill me." And then I thought, "You idiot. You didn't just do that." And he was crying and I was crying. And you know what? He's amazing. In fact, he has a message for you. I said, "What message do you want to give the parents?" And he looked at me, because he would give anything except that. And he said, "Everything's fine. Everything's under control. Israel is great." Take that message. That's what's coming from the soldiers. All right? First of all, have people you can talk to. If you don't, definitely join the group. Join the group anyway, whatever you want. It's really important for you to be able to express what you're going through with someone who understands. But if it's only negative, find people who are positive, because that helps as well. Okay? Next really important thing, breathe. Breathing is highly recommended, and it's sometimes the cure to everything. You just breathe in, breathe out. It works. Just calm yourself down. There are tons of fears in the world. Forget them. Just breathe. Next thing is trust. Okay? I highly recommend that you trust the Army. The Army is amazing. They've done this before. They know what they're doing. Yes, I know it doesn't look good, or it didn't look good. It's looking better already. Trust. Okay? You do not have to single-handedly find helmets for your sons or ceramic vests. If your son needs a ceramic vest, the army will give him one. If your son needs a helmet, the army will give him one. And just trust. I understand all sorts of things, just trust, okay? The next is a big one, know yourself. What helps you? For example, I'm a newsaholic. When I'm not watching the news, and I have 2 different alarm systems on my phone, and I'm glued to everything, and unfortunately watching every video, until I can feel the pressure, and then I stop, and then I go back. Does that help you? Are you a newsaholic? How many people are newsaholics? Okay. Everybody else, don't watch the news. Everyone's a newsaholic. Watch the news. There's no one set answer here. Whatever works for you. If it brings you pressure, don't. If it relieves the pressure, do. Simple as that. Okay? Sometimes it's something in between, and that's fine as well. Okay? The most important thing here is for you to understand you have 0 obligations, or you have 1 obligation. That's to your family and to your son or daughter. You have no obligation to go to a ceremony. You have no obligation to donate money. You don't have to raise money for anything. You don't have to attend anything. You don't have to. I stopped after my first son went in. He went in March. And then a few months later was Yom HaZikaron. And all my friends were talking about, okay, so we'll meet you there. And I'm thinking, I can't think of anywhere else I'd rather be. I'd rather not be than there. And I got ready, I got dressed, and I thought, I can't. And I felt terrible. And the next year came, and I thought, I can't do it. And one of the years my son went with me, and that wasn't any better. And I didn't. And I realized, don't feel guilty. Let it go. You don't have to go. You're doing enough. Everything you're doing enough. You don't owe anybody anything. Okay, so if somebody says, oh, come on, you should do this, you don't have to. Next thing is, when my oldest went into Aferet Atzukah, and I was crying my eyes out. Anybody here cry a lot? Nobody? Cool. Well, a few of you. Okay. So I was crying, and a friend saw me, and my eyes were like this big, red. And she said, what's wrong? And I said, hi. And she said, your crying is showing that you don't have emunah. And like, the worst thing you could do is slap somebody when they're down, right? So I thought, okay, well, I want emunah, but I'm crying, and I don't know what to do. I felt terrible. And about a week later, I saw her husband, and he looked terrible. His eyes were like really... I said to him, what happened? He said, oh, Baruchi, he's in Gaza. Okay, cry. There's nothing wrong with crying. Do whatever you need to do. Don't let anybody tell you that anything you're doing shows a lack of faith. No one can judge your faith or anything else. So again, back to the do it what you need to do. There are a few things that you can do to help your soldier, okay? And so these are more practical advice. First of all, listen to the signals that they send to you. Sometimes they want to talk, and sometimes they don't. If they want to talk, listen. If they don't want to talk, you talk. And it's that simple. Sometimes they want to tell you everything. My oldest son tells me everything. Things that he probably shouldn't, I don't know. I mean, probably not. But he's, like he said to me one time, Ima, they're really tall buildings in Kalkilia. And I thought, Ellie, why do you know that? I don't want you to know that. And, he told me about the time that they pulled the Humvee up next to the home, right? And jumped on top of the Humvee and jumped over the wall. Things you don't want to know. So just listen if they want to talk to you. Talk about utter nonsense. Tell them about what their siblings are doing or about what you did. Utter nonsense, just to keep the conversation. When they need to get off, they'll get off. Don't ask them questions, because a lot of times they can't answer, and if they can, they'll tell you. Another really good thing nowadays is we have SMS and we have WhatsApp. Use it. Send them messages. Send them pictures. Send them videos. One of my youngest, I have 3 granddaughters that were born right around the time together, 2 twins and another one. So the youngest one of my son, who's down south, came to me and said that she can do anything she wants because her Abba is in Miluim. And it was adorable. So I said, oh, really? You can do anything you want? You tell Abba that. And so, of course, being a 3-4-year-old, she did. And so I sent him the video. And then I taped her saying what she did in Gun. Make videos of the younger kids and send them. Erev Shabbat, get your whole family together and just send a message. It doesn't matter if they see it now or when they see it. It's something that when they open it up and they see like 6 messages from people, wow, it's amazing. Okay? Another thing I suggest is like have your young kids, if you have young kids or grandchildren or whatever, make pictures and like put them on the door when they come home. It keeps the kids busy and it makes them feel good to know that they're being remembered. Favorite foods, things like that. And don't tell them things that will stress them. Okay, so for instance, don't tell them what's going on. Don't tell them if things are hard at home. It's too much for them to handle right now. They don't need that. You can tell other people, and you should. But you just have to kind of be really brave. And I remember the first time that Ellie moved down south to Gaza, I kept saying to him, like we had a code. So Ellie, where are you now? I'm where you put me, which was like outside Kfar Saba, not exactly, but around there, at a base nearby. And then the day came when he said, Ima, I'm not where you thought I was. And I thought, okay, now what? So I can't say where are you. So are you north of where you were or are you south of where you were? Everybody in Gaza knew what that meant, but never mind. And so he said, I'm south. So I knew they'd sent him to Gaza and not to Lebanon. And so I thought, okay, good, that's great. Have a nice day. And you can imagine, got off the phone and cried hysterically. And I just let him talk. And I was really good on the phone, and I would sound really good and then get off the phone, and that's fine. Just let him think everything is amazing. And he would tell me stories about Gaza that were hysterical. He was having the time of his life. I know you can't believe that, but he really was. And he told me about how his commander every morning put his coffee on top of the Nagmash, the armored vehicle, and then they would swing the cannon around and the coffee would fall all over the commander. And everyone would laugh hysterically. And every morning the same thing happened. The guy just couldn't not, and he laughed hysterically. He got it. So I guess that's the main thing that I wanted to tell you. I made sheets with these advice. If it helps any, you're welcome to it. I think the single most important thing that you need to know is that they will get through this. And they are very strong. And they are trying to make us strong. If you look around, they are sending videos that are hysterical. They're having the time of their lives. And I know that sounds very strange, but they are very strong. And they want us to be strong. So we can be strong for them. And then we can be, like, between us, talk and get things done and share. Okay, so any questions, any comments, anything? No? Okay, so that's it. Okay, and if you want to join the Facebook group, you live in Modi'in? Who's here? Okay, so if you know these women, you know how to add them. So you can write to one of them on Facebook, write to me, and I can add you, okay? The information, good point. The information is on the bottom of the sheet, not how to, okay, the group is top secret. Well, not top secret, but it's secret, meaning you can't find it. You have to be added in, otherwise we don't want it to be open. There are rules, no politics, no promotions, no fundraising, and you are not allowed to say where your son is, because I get to delete it then if you do. I also put my phone number in there. I have a lot of mothers calling me, and you're welcome to call me, other than Shabbat, please. And I'm very good about it. So when the mother called me and said, please, let it not be anybody here, and I don't think it is. When she called, she said to me, my son is terrified. He's on the Lebanese border, and they're going to send him soon on a suicide mission into Lebanon. And I said, we're not going into Lebanon, and we don't do suicide missions. And then the next one said to me, he just finished 2.5 months of training, and they're going to send him into Gaza. I said, they're rushing his basic training, so they're going to send him to Gaza. I said, no, they're rushing his basic training so that he can go to a very safe place and be a guard, so they can send that unit somewhere else and that unit somewhere else. But the fact that they have the freedom to say this is what's so valuable about this group. So I can tell you it's funny, but it's not funny to her. Okay, so it's call if you need, And we're all that way. All of the people on the group are amazing. Okay? So, anyway, thank you very much.